Welcome back to Great Day Washington. Politics has taken its place amidst this pandemic, and I reached out to the guy who makes politics just plain fun. Q with the Q. Here is Quint Giles with a political roundup.
Quentin, so good to see you again. We miss having you in studio, but we got plenty to talk about today.
Yes, we do. It's good to be here. I miss you. I miss you both as well.
Well, last time you were here, Joe Biden was struggling on the campaign trail, and lo and behold, he's still there. What's your take on all that?
Right. I am shocked and amazed. So I have to take the foot out of my mouth because I was one of those ones that deemed his campaign dead. And he has made a complete comeback. Not only did he rack up on Super Tuesday, he's gotten endorsements from Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Barack Obama. So it seems like the party is really coalescing behind him. And I think I will stand on this. I do think that lets me know that a lot of Democratic voters are really voting out of comfort, because we can't really say that Joe Biden is a revolutionary and he has this great movement like a Bernie Sanders had. But what the American people, especially the Democrats, seem to be saying is that they know him. And so they're comfortable with him and familiar with him. And they would rather go with a familiar person rather than a Bernie Sanders to try to break the system down right now.
And now, of course,
it's great for Joe Biden.
Absolutely. And he's been in the White House, as you said, the comfort level. But now people are talking about vice presidential picks. Of course, Biden said in the last debate that he was 100% going to pick a female. But now it seems to be what's happening. What do you think?
Well, he better pick a female. He better stand by that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And let me push in further than that. He needs to pick a well-rounded, competent female, because we don't want to do identity politics and just pick a female for the sake of a female. We want someone who can actually do the job. And there are so many qualified women that can do this job. And so I'm hoping that he stands by that, because that definitely got a lot more people rallied around him. I particularly am looking at a Biden-Warren ticket, just because I think Warren is pragmatic enough to know that she might not be able to get all of her progressive policies pushed, but she would be a fine running mate to kind of push him towards those younger millennials and those harder left-leaning people. I'm also looking at a Stacey Abrams vice presidential pick, which I think would be phenomenal. Stacey Abrams right now should be the governor of Georgia, but that election was stolen from her. And a lot of people believe that because the Secretary of State was running for governor as well. And so there's still this question of how can you run for a position that your current position oversees the election? But she's phenomenal. She's very well educated. She appeals to many different spectrums of Democratic voters. And I think that it would be a powerful representation for communities that typically get overlooked.
So how are we going to do this voting thing in November? Obviously, we're still waiting. We're taking it day by day, but there's been talk of mail-in and online voting. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, so there was recently a new Wall Street Journal poll that asked Americans, would they want a vote by mail for the presidential election or online voting? And it seems as though Americans are really leaning more towards vote by mail, because it's something that we already do, especially with like absentee voting and for our senior citizens who can't get to the polls. But a lot of them rejected online polling. And I can see why. Everybody gets hacked every 5 days. So that probably wouldn't be the best use of resources to try to vote online, because I think it would be much more susceptible to hacking. And we want to make sure that our election is a correct representation of the people. So the poll said about 68% of Americans favor wide-scale mail-in voting. And that was across your Democrat, your Republican, and independent margins. So there seems to be some appetite for that. So I'm hoping that we would do that. One, just because we don't know how far the coronavirus is going to go and if we're still going to be in the House by then. Hopefully not. But if so, we still want to make sure that we have fair and free elections. And then two, mail-in voting would just really increase voter turnout for everyone across all spectrums. So I think it would be a good proposition for the government to implement, honestly.
Well, and if we are out of the House, but at least the mail-in voting would mean less people at the polls and less worry there. But those that like to do it in person can still do it in person.
They can still do it, right?
Yeah. I want to get your information. There's all been the talk about the $1,200 stimulus check. Some people are wondering, am I going to have to pay this back? Is this my money to keep? What can you tell us?
Yeah, so it's absolutely your money. And I'm so glad you brought this up, because I think it's so important for people to know. There's been a lot of confusion about, is it taxable? Do I have to pay it back at a certain time? The money is yours. It's not going to be taxed. You don't have to pay it back on next year's tax return. It is your money. So the money that's deposited, keep it, pay your bills, put a little something to the side. But it's yours. You don't have to pay it back. I know there's a lot of confusion, but please, 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 people know that you do not have to pay it back.
All right. Don't listen to anybody else but Q here. Quentin.
Thank you for that. Yes.
Thank you for being here with us this morning. Hopefully we'll see you back here in studio soon. But until then, stay safe and be well. And it's great to see your face.
Thank you. You too.
All right, not sure how we're going to be voting in November, but we will, of course, keep you updated with any changes to make sure you can vote, because your vote counts and your vote matters. Thank you, Quentin.